This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. I'm here with Pleiss Realty and Associates. Since 2006, these expert agents have been providing excellent service for those buying and selling here in Denver and surrounding areas. I'm joined by Amber, who is the owner, broker. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. Amber, really we're going back almost 18 years when you had a passion for and an interest for real estate. Since then, you've had experience of that of a broker, a coach, a network professional, a counselor. I mean, all that's pretty much related though into this business of real estate. So take me back a little bit and tell me how this passion got started for you and why you decided to venture out on your own.
That's a great question. What really got me interested in real estate and becoming a real estate agent and afterwards a broker was I had an experience with title companies as I managed title companies for 10 years prior to getting into real estate. I seen so many transactions fall apart because agents were not properly preparing their cases, there's closings, and then they wouldn't show up at closing. The buyer would be sitting there going, why am I not closing? And title would have to tell them. And that became very disturbing to me that consumers were not being treated properly when they're making the biggest purchase of their life and buying a home. And that agent should be right there next to them the entire time, especially when they have questions and you're going to closing. So for me, it just became a no-brainer that knowing all the experience I've done over 5,000 closings before I ever became an agent, and seeing the transactions and the intricacies between the lender, the agents, the buyer, the seller, and the title company, and seeing how all that gets put together, I felt it would be a better position for me to go out and work with the consumer and do the real estate side myself.
That's a great story. I mean, obviously you're looking out for the consumer on the front end. You now have a company that is able to provide that level of service for them. I mean, we live in Denver, beautiful, beautiful city. People are moving in here like crazy. Share with me, have you seen quite a few changes in the real estate market just in the past decade? And is it alive and well?
Yes, it is alive and well. The market's always going to do what the market's going to do. It will change based on the economy. Obviously, COVID made a big difference. It changed the way that we sell real estate. It changed the way buyers look at real estate. We've had a lot more online viewings and purchases. Yeah. Over 60% of transactions last year were bought sight unseen by buyers who only seen it through the internet, virtual tour, open house virtual tour, and these have become the new must-haves in real estate. This is how we reach out to the customer now. We've been through a down cycle, and people are consistently asking me at this time, do I feel we're going to hit another bubble? Are we going to see another '08 again, '09, where the property markets and the values and people are foreclosing? And I don't believe we will. I'm not an expert as far as stats on all economics. I can tell you the real estate market and what I can see. And what I see is I don't believe there's going to be a big bubble. I think that we're already seeing a correction, and that's important to see that correction. So in some areas, we have actually seen a drop in inventory over the last 60 to 90 days. We've also seen over the last 30 days since July, reduction in values. So there is a correction coming out right now, and not just in Colorado, but across the board. Many states are seeing that at this point, 2 to 3% prices going back down. They kind of just over-elevated a little bit, to where they should be, and that scared a lot of buyers off. Buyers want to be able to buy with confidence that they're not going to be upside down on their property and something happens to them and they're in an '08 situation again and they're looking at their house being foreclosed on or having to do a short sale.
Speaking of buyers having confidence, I mean, obviously the real estate investment, this purchase is one of the biggest most of us will ever make in a lifetime. Why is it important for the consumer out there to have a professional in their corner and definitely not want to go it alone?
There's a lot of reasons for that. As a consumer, you think, well, it's pretty easy. I can just find the house on my own and I can just talk with the other agent and they'll help me buy the property and I'll get the deal because I'm working with their agent. Right. And unfortunately, that's wrong. In most cases, you'll end up paying more than if you used an agent to represent you.
I believe that.
As a buyer, it doesn't cost you to be represented by an agent. The seller's agent pays it. The seller does. So there's no reason, especially in these times, with multiple bidding wars, overvalued properties, that you shouldn't be advised to what's going on and how to bring value to yourself and your property.
Oh, wow. I mean, when I purchased my first home, I mean, the MLS back then was a paper book. And we're definitely beyond that now. Educate the viewers out there on what the MLS is and how you're able to utilize that tool to keep up to date.
Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah.
The MLS, as far as the agent side, all of you have seen Realtor.com, RE Colorado, PPAR. You know, if you're in Colorado, you've seen all these sites. These are the MLSs that feed over to Realtor.com. They feed over to Zillow. They feed over to all the websites.
Okay.
So it's very important for a seller to have an agent that's going to represent them and get that property into MLS in a way that can market that property and bring buyers and attention to sell that home. There's also value that needs to be added. And a lot of people don't understand value. There's a lot of agents out there. I could walk downtown to 16th Street Mall and throw a brick and hit one.
Yep.
You know, but which one would I hit? You know, what I look for in my brokerage is I look for experienced agents that understand and are trainable to learn what value really is in a property. You see flicks and flippers do it all the time.
Yeah.
There's no special science to that. It's just a normal process. Don't overbuild, don't overspend, don't upgrade too high for the buyer and the price. There are a lot of things that we can do as a brokerage, and our agents do this. We do a pre-walkthrough listing for all of our sellers with no agreement. We come out, we come to your house, we walk through, we tell you what to do, what not to do. We show you what a flipper would do on your own home if they were to buy your home. We add instant value and equity to your property on the sale that can be supported by the little things that you do to it based on what we see. And part of that is staging. Staging is very important. You know, you've got to get rid of the personal things in the house. Buyers want to see themselves living in that house. They can't get past themselves living in the house if they're looking at all of your wonderful items. And they may be wonderful, but we want the buyers looking at the features of the home.
Sure. I mean, if you're basically, like you say, able to add value to that home just by giving me some tips on the front end. Speaking of value in the home, I mean, you're not only able to find people homes out there, a house they're looking for, but you're basically able to find them sometimes homes that already have equity. I mean, that has to be something that is kind of exciting for you to look through and make that happen for someone.
It is, you know, and it's very important for our clients and our customers. That's why we get, you know, a high repeat referral business. We take care of our clients. We want to build your wealth in real estate, and we want to build a portfolio for you. We're not looking to sell you a home to live in, although that's the purpose, is for you to buy a home to live in. But our job is to look out for your money. That's why we're fiduciaries. And so as a fiduciary to you, as my client, I want to tell you how I can build you the most equity into your property, whether you're just buying it today or whether you're selling it, and how to get that value out of it. We want to build your portfolio. We want to grow it over time in real estate.
No matter if you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned veteran out there that's an investor, equity is always good, period.
Absolutely.
I mean, you guys are living up to your name of the equity finders.
Yes.
Is that something that is always a challenge with each one you're looking at, seeing how you can squeeze equity out of a property and make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck if you're selling that?
Exactly. And you know, there's a lot of little things that can be done. Flippers don't go in and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. If they did, it wouldn't be gained equity. It would be paid for equity.
Oh, okay.
And there's a difference. So you don't need to spend a lot of money, nor do you need to spend a lot of time. Buyers or sellers, when they live in their home for so long, they tend to forget, they misplace the little deficiencies in the home. Because you don't see them, you've been there for so long. Those little deficiencies are usually the first things buyers see when they come into your home. Things that you've overlooked. And that gives them the wrong sense of, have you properly maintained the home? Does the home have the value? Those things are really important to buyers. Buyers want to know that that home's been well maintained, whether it's built in 1970 or whether it was built in 2015. And maintenance shows. So anytime that you can upkeep your home, you know, and show maintenance logs, it's obviously going to bring more value to your home.
That is interesting. I mean, obviously this is a fast-moving market. Information is constant, like you say, with the MLS. People can tap into it. Is it important for you to keep on top of that for your client, and more importantly, even communicate when the market changes that could affect them?
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, we have to keep our buyers and sellers advised at all times. The biggest part of our job is educating the buyer and the seller to meet their goals and their needs and what they want and how we're going to get there for them. Without a game plan, you really don't have a plan at all. You're kind of just skipping around the market and going, well, this one's available, let's go look. But are you really taking care of your client and giving them what they want? So it's really important that you listen to your client first. You have to ask your client questions. And it's interesting, there's a lot of things that a buyer, especially a new buyer, can't tell you that they want or don't want because they don't know it yet. They haven't seen it. So it's really important when you watch them walk into a property and they start noting things they haven't recognized before. You understand to have that conversation with them. Is this something that's a no-brainer? You don't want this property. Great, then we know not to show you properties like this. Let's find you properties you want. So communication is very key in order for the seller or the buyer to get to the end goal of where they want to be.
That is interesting. I mean, your passion on the front end was really trying to do more for the consumer. In 2020, last year, we found out that we all need to do our part to make the world a better place. Share with me what is basically Eco-Conscious broker? What does that mean to you?
Eco-Conscious broker means that you're conscious to all things as far as the ecology, the economy. We're looking for better green energy sources. The LEED system, all of the ratings that we have now are getting very important and very popular. Again, back to the MLS, all of these are now features that we can put the certifications for those into the MLS, which is showing other buyers who are eco-friendly that this is an eco-friendly home. It uses less use of energy and water and the water sources and the heat and the way everything is run in the property. So eco-friendly is extremely important, and I don't think that's going away. It's only going to get stronger with global warming and everything else that we're seeing, in the weather throughout the U.S. and across the world.
So this way of you basically giving back to your community in that way as well, teaching your brokers to be conscious of all that as they go about their transactions. Let me ask you this. Obviously, your green team has experience in many areas, be it foreclosures, short sales, buying, selling. I mean, is constantly educating your team something that's important to you and obviously necessary?
Absolutely. For starters, I do market research every day. I spend no less than 1 hour a day, every day, watching the market, seeing where the real estate is, whether it's in this state, another city, because they all tend to flow into each other. So globally, at least in America, real estate tends to follow, it's cyclical. It's a cyclical market, and it follows consistencies throughout those times. And it's really important to understand those consistencies. When are buyers coming? When is it going to be slow? When are we dealing with relocation market? Because you have to shift. In the spring, we're dealing with a lot of up-down buyers and sellers, people who want to move up, move down, first-time buyers getting out of their rentals.
Sure.
And that's a really busy time for them. The end of the year, we're dealing with relocations and investors. Investors that are looking to get deals that people want off their books before the end of the year. We're looking at relocations that are coming in from other corporations, other states that want their CEOs and VPs here. They need to be relocated by January 1st. So that's usually their end goal. So it's a matter of just knowing where your market is and where it's coming from. And that includes the sellers and what inventory's on the market, as well as what's inventory is about to come on the market. And understanding the market is what gets you there. Now, my job is to get you your end goal and to help you make money in the process. I want to build your wealth through real estate. And real estate is the best way to build wealth. So it's really untapped for traditional home buyers and sellers that agents don't work with them in this manner. You're buying a very important asset, but you could grow wealth through that asset. And that's what we want to help you with. We want to help you get to where you can retire based off the real estate purchases and sales that you've made throughout your history with us. And you're ready to retire. You've made enough wealth. You don't need to worry about anything else.
I mean, really, you're more than a realtor. You're teaching people financial literacy, that basically they understand the investment aspect to this. I mean, at the end of the day, for you, this is about providing results for them. That's what excites you. Is that challenging for you and a challenge that you enjoy when you sit and listen to them, find out what their needs are, and then find the solution?
Correct. And I love making people money through real estate. That makes me so happy. When I see, especially a first-time buyer moving into a property and we've got them in a position where they've already built in equity the second they move in and close. And knowing where this young couple or where this young individual is going to be in 15 or 20 years from now. And the wealth that we're going to be able to create for them through their purchases in real estate.
I mean, sometimes their needs are not even to find a home, but sometimes people are trying to save their home, keep their home.
Correct.
Tell me about that. That is one aspect that you bring to the table that a lot of realtors are not able to.
Correct. I am trained in modifications and in short sales. Certified for both of those. Certified in BPOs with lenders for REO properties. So I do work with a lot of the banks and the lenders. I understand their processes. We do offer modifications to assist with modifications to somebody if they want to keep their home. That's the first thing that we will do. And we do that free of no charge. That is part of us giving back to the community,
Interesting.
in real estate. And people, home ownership is so important. And it's a passion of mine that everybody should be able to keep their home. So I'm going to work hard for you and not get paid just to get you to keep your home. It also helps balance out the market. When we start getting too many properties going into foreclosure, that's where the property values drop and people start losing money. Homes get left vacant, squatters get into them, and they can destroy a neighborhood overnight. So it's really not a good situation when we're seeing people going into foreclosure. If we can do a modification, it's something they can work with and keep the home, that's wonderful. And they're going to remember us. And when they are ready to sell the home and make some money out of it, which we're happy to help them do, they're going to come back and call us, and it's going to be a happy reunited.
That is pretty exciting for you. Obviously, something that money can't buy is making sure somebody gets to keep their home.
Right.
Basically, when you began, 2003, you learned quickly that many of the brokers out there see as real estate as property. You were soon to realize that real estate is about people, really being able to empower them and give them information and knowledge so they could go out and make money in that way. Is that important for you, giving back to your community in that way, and something that pretty much gets you up every day?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I live for. I love real estate. I love everything about real estate. I bought my first home at 19 in San Diego, right out of my mom's house, never rented. And, I've been able to see how real estate has changed and grown over different markets and through time. And it's still, to me, one of the best ways to make money, to build wealth. Most people don't know stocks and they don't know the stock market, but everybody has to live somewhere. Why not live in a home that you love and have a way that's going to build you wealth by living in that home? And that's a concept, unfortunate, that a lot of agents don't look at or understand in this market or in any market. They're not looking at the wealth of the buyer or the seller and helping you to build that wealth and identifying that. Because some may do it unintentionally, but the buyer or the seller never really understand this is what we're doing and how we're getting somewhere. And if they end up with another agent somewhere else that's not doing that for them, they could lose everything that they've gained by making one wrong decision.
Wow, that's got to be exciting for you to, like I say, educate the consumers every day, share with the knowledge that you have been able to accumulate throughout the years. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is the website. First of all, take a look at the website. You're going to see basically a team that is out there to not only find you a great home, help you sell your home, but at the end of the day, make sure you make the money that is really due to you. And basically, this is, you want to not go it alone in this market. Obviously, we have professionals in place not only to make sure that you're getting the best value, but also doing it the right way. Once again, that is Pleiss Realty and Associates since 2006. Expert agent, excellent service. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.